मैं हूँ रश्मि चौधरी एंड वेलकम टू दिस वीडियो सीरीज। यहाँ हम कवर करेंगे नितिन सिंघानिया की आर्ट एंड कल्चर की फिफ्थ एडिशन जो कि लेटेस्ट एडिशन है। इस किताब को हम थॉरली रीड करेंगे, जहाँ ज़रूरत पड़ेगी समझाएंगे भी, और साथ ही यूपीएससी और स्टेट पीएससीज में आए हुए प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करेंगे। इस सीरीज में एक वीडियो 30 से 35 मिनट्स की होगी, बट इफेक्टिव होगी। 40 से 45 लेक्चर्स में पूरी किताब कवर हो जाएगी। अगर आपने ये सीरीज 3 से 4 बार देख ली तो बिल्कुल ये किताब आपके दिमाग में छप जाएगी एंड योर एक्यूरेसी विल डेफिनेटली इंक्रीज। ऑल्सो आपका रिवीजन काफी आसान हो जाएगा। तो अगर आपको रिवीजन के साथ साथ वैल्यू एडिशन भी करना है तो ये सीरीज पूरी फॉलो करें। आपको बस अपने पास ये किताब रख कर मुझे सुनना है और इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट्स मार्क करने हैं। सो विदाउट एनी फर्दर डिले लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड।
हेलो एंड वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल घटना सूत्र। यहाँ हम कवर कर रहे हैं नितिन सिंघानिया की आर्ट एंड कल्चर की फिफ्थ एडिशन जो कि लेटेस्ट एडिशन है। और हमने फोर्थ चैप्टर का ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीट कर लिया है सारा कंटेंट, बस 2 पेजेस रह गए, तो अभी हम वो कंप्लीट करेंगे, फिर वील मूव टू द फिफ्थ चैप्टर, दैट इज coins in ancient and medieval India. So let's continue with our fourth chapter. Mandsaur pillar inscription of Yashodharman, Madhya Pradesh. A guild was reported to be punished if it moved to another location. However, the Mandsaur inscription indicates that guild did migrate without apparently incurring any such punishment from the king. Dated around 515 to 550 AD, these Sanskrit inscriptions record the victory of Olikara king Yashodharman over the Han king Mihir Kula. Iran-born inscription, Toramana, Madhya Pradesh, dated around the early 6th century AD. This stone inscription documents King Toramana, ruler of Al Alkan Huns. The first evidence of sati ritual immolation of widows is found in an inscription at Iran in Madhya Pradesh. Vadatikar cave inscription in Nagarjuni Hill cave inscription, Bihar. It is a 5th or 6th century AD Sanskrit inscription in Gupta script. It was found in the Nagarjuni Hill cave of the Baravar caves group in Bihar. The Shiva inscription starts with Om, thereby signifying its importance in 5th century Hindu tradition. Inscription of Harshvardhan, 7th century AD. The Bankhera copper plate inscription in Uttar Pradesh contains the signature of Harshvardhan. The Sonepat plate inscription Haryana and the Madhuban plate inscription Uttar Pradesh are useful to know the chronology of Harshvardhan. Haldi Mehdi inscription, Karnataka. It is the oldest known Kannada language inscription in the Kadamba script, dated around 450 to 500 AD. It is the earliest evidence of the usage of Kannada as an administrative language. Ahol inscription, Karnataka. Ahol was the first capital of the Chalukyas. Many inscriptions were found at Ahol, but the inscription found near Meguti Jain Temple, sorry, popularly known as Ahol inscription or Ahol Prashasti, details many historical events of the Chalukyas. The Sanskrit inscription is written in Kannada script. There is mention about the defeat of Harshvardhan by Pulkeshin II. Mark this as very very important. ये यूपीएससी 2003 में क्वेश्चन पूछा जा चुका है, जेपीएससी 2016 में क्वेश्चन पूछा जा चुका है, और ईयर भी आया है कि किस ईयर में हुआ है. तो इट वाज इन 618 AD. And the victory of Chalukyas over Pallavas. It also mentions about the shifting of the capital from Aihole to Badami. The lines were written by Ravi Kirti, the court poet of Pulkeshin II, who regained from 610 to 642 AB. कालिदास को मेंशन किया गया है इसी इंस्क्रिप्शन में, जो कि यूपीपीसीएस 2013 एंड यूपीएससी 1994 में क्वेश्चन पूछा जा चुका है. तो इस पैराग्राफ में क्योंकि ये मेंशन नहीं है तो मैंने यहाँ पे लिख दिया, आप भी यहाँ पे नोट कर सकते हो अपने बुक में. नोटेबल तमिल ब्राह्मी डोनेटिव इंस्क्रिप्शन, Puggalur and Arachallur inscription. They record the donations made by Chera rulers as well as the craftspeople and merchants. Mangalam inscription, they record the gifts made to Jain monks. The mention of a subordinate ruler or functionary of the Pandya king is noteworthy here. Doda Hundi Nishidhi, an inscription Karnataka. In Jainism, Nishidhi is a spot where an ascetic king or queen has died voluntarily or was cremated or bone relic buried. तो आपको ये information मिली terminology से क्योंकि related questions आते हैं, so this becomes important. Such places were held in high regard under Jainism. The hero stone there depicted the ritual death, Salekhana or Samadhi, and of the Western Ganga dynasty king Iraganga Nitimarga I in the 9th century AD. Deopara Prashasti, Bangladesh. It is a stone inscription Prashasti of the Sena king of Bengal. It was composed by Umapati Dhar 1150 to 1240, who was one of the court poets and a minister in the court of Lakshman Sena. Sanokar inscription and Nehati copper plate, West Bengal. These two inscriptions are the epigraphs belonging to Vallala Sena of Sena dynasty, Bengal. Khalimpur, a copper plate of Dharmapal, West Bengal. It is related to Dharmapal, second ruler of Pala dynasty in Bengal region, and is dated around early 9th century AD. The copper plate provides details about the military exploits of the Pala ruler, perhaps in Kannauj. Harsola copper plate, Gujarat. They are a set of two inscriptions of 10th century AD that record the grants of two villages to a Nagar Brahmin father-son duo by Paramara king Siaka II. Chanderi inscription of Alauddin Khilji. It is said to be the oldest known Islamic inscription from Chanderi, dated around the early 14th century, written in Naskh script and in Persian language. It records the completion of a mosque. Sreni Bala. In the postmodern period, state ownership of the industries was abolished. According to the epigraphic evidence, the merchant guilds were autonomous and they issued seals and coins. Kalachuri inscription mentions the merchant guilds own militia warriors or own troops called Sreni Bala. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे हमारा चैप्टर कंप्लीट होता है. Let's move to the fifth chapter, which is about the coins in ancient and medieval India. The word coin is derived from the Latin word cuneus. It is believed that the first recorded use of coins was in China and Greece around 700 BC and in India in the 6th century BC. The study of coins and medallions is known as numismatics. काफी important question है ये numismatics. किससे रिलेटेड है किसकी स्टडी से रिलेटेड है तो दिस इज रिलेटेड टू coins and medallions. Important contributions to numismatics in ancient and medieval India. Sir William Jones, 1746 to 1794. The study of numismatics in India has benefited much with the establishment of the Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1784 by Sir William Jones. He also started the Society's journal, The Asiatic Researches. James Prinsep, 1799 to 1840. He was a great scholar, Orientalist, numismatist. Bilingual Indo-Greek coins were used by him to decipher Kharoshti script. He interpreted the Indian series coins from Bactria and Kushan uh, Kushan and coins from Gupta पीरियड. जेम्स प्रिंसेप के बारे में हमने बहुत पढ़ा है लास्ट चैप्टर्स में, तो प्लीज आप रेफर करें उन वीडियोस को. विलियम मार्स देन 1754 to 1836. He was a great numismatist. Marsden's Numismata Orientalia Illustrata contributed much in the field of Asiatic numismatics. Numismata Orientalia Illustrata was published in two volumes, 1823 to 1825. A section on coins of Hindustan included in its second volume. E.J. Rapson, he was a renowned British numismatist. His seminal work include Indian coins, catalogue of coins of the Andhra dynasty, the Western Kshatraps, the Trikuta dynasty and Bodhi dynasty, etc. Pandit Bhagwan Lal Indraji, 1839 to 1888. He was an Indian archaeologist, epigrapher, and numismatist. He, he had a great numismatic collection of Indo-Parthian, Kushan, Sasanian, and Gupta coins. He made transcripts of the Hathi Gufa inscription and discovered the Mathura lion capital, Naneghat relief, and the Bairat and Sopara Ashokan inscription, etc. Numismatic Society of India, it was set up in 1910, and the new era was heralded in Indian numismatics. The founding members of the society include uh, Rev. Sir uh, Richard Byrd, H.N. Wright, and R.B. Whitehead. Sir John Stanley, Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, was its first president. Terms and terminologies दी हुई है coin से related flat surface of the coin, motif, decorative symbol slash figure impressed on the coin, flow lines, microscopic striations on coin surface, commemorative coins with a design to honor some historical event or person, bullion, gold coins or other precious metal coins with little numismatic value, hoards, special findings of coins or wealth deposit buried in the ground. Next, punch marked coins. The earliest coins were casted coins and were die struck only on one side. One of the five marks or symbol were infused on a single side and were termed as punch marked coins. Panini's Ashtadhyayi cites that to make punch marked coins, metallic pieces were stamped with symbols. Each unit was called Rati, weighing 0.11 gram. The first traces of these coins were seen between 6th and 2nd century BC. The following two classifications are available. Punchmark coins issued by various Mahajanpads. The first Indian punchmark coins called Puranas, Karshpanas, or Pana were minted in the 6th century BC by various Janapadas and Mahajanpads of Indo-Gangetic plain. These coins had irregular shapes and standard weight and were made of silver with different markings. For example, coins from Saurashtra had a humped bull, from those from Dakshin Panchal had a swastik, and one from Magadha generally had fine symbols. Magadha and Panchmark coins became the most circulated coins in the South Asia. They were mentioned in the Manusmriti and Buddhist Jataka stories and lasted 3 centuries longer in the south than in the north. Punchmark coins during Mauryan period, 322 to 185 BC, Chanakya, the prime minister of the first Mauryan emperor Chandragupta Maurya, mentioned the mining of punchmark coins such as Rupai Roop, silver, Swarna Roop, gold, Tama Roop, copper, and Sisa Roop, लेड इन हिज अर्थशास्त्र ट्रीटीज. तो ये मेंशन मतलब ये जो टर्मिनोलॉजीज है ये आ सकती है एग्जाम में, तो आप इसको स्टार मार्क लगा के रख ले, इंपॉर्टेंट है ये. Out of the various symbols used, the sun and six-armed wheel were the most consistent. The coins contained an average of 50 to 54 grains of silver and weighed 32 rattis and were called karshpanas. It is also important to note that found only in Takshila region, Nigam Panch marked coins were minted by merchant guilds, perhaps 300 BC to 200 CE. These coins were created during the time of Takshila merchant for their use in local trade in the Gandhar region. These nigam or corporations of merchants coin also bear several other words such as dojak, Atakatak, Rally Mass, Kare, etc. Indo-Greek coins. The reign of Indo-Greeks was from 180 BC to around 10 AD. The Indo-Greeks introduced the fashion of featuring the bust or head of the ruler on their coin. The legends on their Indian coins were mentioned in two languages, in Greek on the one side and Kharoshthi in the other side of the on the other side of the coin. The Greek gods and goddesses commonly featured on the Indo-Greek coins were Zeus, Hercules, Apollo, and Pallas Athene. These Earlier coins used images of Greek deities, but later coins had images of Indian deities as well. These coins are significant because they carried detailed information about the issuing monarch, the year of the issue, and sometimes an image of the reigning king. तो आपको पता लगता है कि किस ईयर में कॉइन इशू हुआ था, तो दिस becomes very important. Coins were mainly made of silver, copper, nickel, and lead. The coins of the Greek kings in India were bilingual, written in Greek on the front and Pali language in Kharoshthi script on the back. Later, Indo-Greek Kushan king introduced the Greek customs of engraving portrait heads on the coin. Kushan coins were adorned with the helmeted bust of the king on the one side and the king's favorite deity on the reverse. The coins issued by Kanishka employed only Greek characters. The extensive coinage of Kushan Empire also influenced a large number of tribes, dynasties, and kingdoms which began issuing their own coins. बुद्धा जो है वो कनिष्क के कॉइन्स पे डिपिक्ट हुए थे। ये क्वेश्चन आपका यूपीपीसीएस 2010 में पूछा गया था, तो ये इंफॉर्मेशन आप नोट करके यहाँ रख सकते हो। Roman coins in ancient India, large number of ancient Roman coins belonging to 2nd century BC to 6th century CE have been found in different places in India. Two major places where plentiful Roman coins were found are Krishna Valley in Andhra Pradesh and Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. The prominent numismatists who contributed much to the ancient Roman coins in India to understand the pattern of ancient Indo-Roman trade are James Todd, James Prinsep, and Bishop Caldwell. There are three phases of influx of Roman coins and bullions. Initial phase, there was a large influx of silver coins in this phase. Silver denarii or of ancient Rome were brought as bullion. The weight of the coins were 3.4 to 4 grams. These coins were found mainly in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Lakshadweep Island. सेकेंड फेज गोल्ड कॉइन, तो इससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि किस फेज में कौन से कॉइन्स मिले थे। गोल्ड कॉइन्स और ऑरियस varied from 7 to 8 grams. They were issued mainly by Augustus, Tiberius, Claudius, and Nero. Major Roman gold coins were found in different places of Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. Minor Roman gold coins were also found in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Odisha. Late gold coins, 2nd to 3rd century CE, were issued by Antonius Pius and Septimius Severus. Third phase, late Roman copper coins are known as poles. तो थर्ड फेज में कॉपर कॉइन्स आने लगे थे, फर्स्ट में सिल्वर, सेकंड में गोल्ड एंड थर्ड में कॉपर. A large number of coins have been found in Karur and Madurai in Tamil Nadu. Coins issued in the 4th century CE are attributed to the kings Constantius II and Theodosius. Roman coins have been found in South India up to 6th century CE. Some other features, Roman coins were used as models to mint coins by contemporary Indian rulers. A large number of Roman coins imitations have also been unearthed at many places. Most of the Roman coins found in India have a slash mark. According to the text Periplus Maris Erythrea, these three regions were the main providers of market for the Romans. Barbaricon, Barigaza, Muziris. Clay bully, Roman clay bully have also been found in several places and they are predated to the silver coins 4th to 3rd century BC 200 to 200 CE. They were widely distributed across Deccan and North India. Coins by Satavahanas. Satavahana rulers started after 232 BC and lasted up to 227 AD. The Satavahana kings mostly used lead as the material for their king. ये क्योंकि specific detail है तो ये question में आ सकता है. Silver coins were rare. Apart from lead, they used an alloy of silver and copper called potin. Many copper coins were also available, although the coins were devoid of any beauty or artistic merit. They constituted a valuable source material of the dynastic history of the Satavahanas. On one side, most of the Satavahana kings had coins had a figure of an elephant, horse, lion, or chaitya. The other side often featured the Ujjain symbol, a cross with four circles at the end of the two crossing lines. The dialect used was Prakrit. कौड़ी सेन हमने सुना है कि पहले कॉइन्स जब इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं हुए थे उससे पहले लोग कॉरीज यूज करते थे. Apart from coins, another major medium of exchange in the early Indian market were cowrie shells. Cowrie shells were used in large number by the ordinary masses for the second small scale economic transactions. It is said that the cowrie shells carried as much value in the market as कॉइन्स. तो अभी भी हम ऐसे बोलचाल की भाषा में देसी भाषा में बोलते हैं पैसा कौड़ी नहीं है. तो यहीं से ही रेफरेंस आया है उसका. कॉइन्स ऑफ द वेस्टर्न satraps of the Scythians, the western satraps 35 to 405 AD, had their dominion in western India, originally comprising Malwa, Gujarat, and Kathiawar. They were all of Saka origin. The coins of the Western satraps are of great historical importance. They bear dates of Saka era, which started from 78 AD. The coins of the Western satraps have head of the king on one side, and on the other they carry the device of Buddhist Chaitya or Stupa. Evidently borrowed from the Satavahanas, the Prakrit language has been seen written in many scripts. तो गुप्ता एज स्टार्ट करते हैं. इसमें एक इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं दी हुई है जो कि पूछा गया कॉमन सेंस भी. चंद्रगुप्त वन ने पहली बार कॉइन्स इशू किए थे. ये यूपीपीसीएस 2010-11 दोनों में पूछा गया है गुप्ता एज के बारे में. और सिल्वर कॉइन्स को ये लोग रूपक बोलते थे या रूपका बोलते थे. और ये सीएससी 1996 का क्वेश्चन है तो ये दोनों स्टेटमेंट्स आप नोट करके यहाँ रख लो. The Gupta age 1319 AD to 550 AD marked the period of great Hindu revival. The Gupta coins were mainly made of gold, although silver and copper were also produced. Silver coins were issued only by Chandragupta II, only after Chandragupta II overthrew the western satraps. There were many types of varieties of Gupta gold coins which were known as dinars. इससे related question UPPCS 1992 में पूछा गया है कि गोल्ड कॉइन्स को क्या बोलते थे तो दिनार्स बोलते थे. On the one side of these coins, the king can be found standing and making oblations before an altar, playing the veena, performing ashwamedh, riding a horse or an elephant, slaying a lion or a tiger or rhinoceros with a sword or bow, or sitting on a couch. On the other side was the goddess Lakshmi seated on a throne or a lotus seat, or the figure of the queen herself. The inscription on the coin were all Sanskrit Brahmi scripts for the first time in the history of coins. Gupta rulers issued coins depicting the rulers not only in martial activities such as hunting, lion, tigers, or posing with weapon, but leisurely activities such as playing the veena with the reverse side of the coin having goddess Lakshmi, goddess Durga, goddess Ganga, Garud, Lord Kartikeya. Please note that the end of Gupta rule in the 6th century due to Han invasion ushered in a period of uncertainty when again the number of local kingdoms rose in different regions, issuing region-specific coins which were poor in both metallic content and artistic design. Thus, during a long period stretching until 13th century, a mix of design borrowed not only from Kushan Gupta pattern but also from foreign sources were employed by this dynasty in western, eastern, northern, and central India. South India developed a different coin paradigm, moving toward a gold standard. which was inspired from the Roman gold coin, which arrived in the region during the first 3 centuries of the first millennium. Next, coins of Vardhanas. The Vardhanas of Thaneswar and Kannauj were responsible for driving out the Hun invaders from India in the late 6th century. The most powerful of their kings was Harshvardhan, whose empire comprised almost the whole of northern India. The silver coins of the Vardhans had on one side the head of the king and on the other side figure of a peacock. This is a specific detail, so it becomes important. The dates on the coin of Harshvardhan indicate the ushering of new era, which probably began in 606 AD, the year of his coronation. Coins of Chalukyan kings. The Chalukyan dynasty, 6th century AD, was founded in by Pulkeshin I with its capital at Badami in Karnataka. One side of the coin had image of a temple or a lion or a legend. The other side was left blank. The coin of the Eastern Chalukyan dynasty, 7th to 12th century AD, had a symbol of boar at the center, with each letter of the king's name inscribed by a separate punch. The other side here was also left blank. Coins of Rajput dynasty. The coins issued by Rajput dynasties 11th to 12th century AD were mostly gold, copper, or billet, an alloy of silver and copper, which but very rarely silver. There were two types of Rajput coinage. On one type showed the name of the king in Sanskrit, and on the other side, goddess of and the goddess on the other side. The coins of Kalachuris, the Chandels of Bundelkhand, Tomars of Ajmer and Delhi, and Rathors of Kannauj were of this type. The kings of Gandhar or Sindh introduced another type of silver coins that had a seated bull on one side and a horseman on the other. Coins of Pandyan and Chola dynasty. The coins issued by Pandyan dynasty in the early period were square shaped with an image of elephant. Later, the fish became a very important symbol in the coin. The gold and silver coin had inscribed inscriptions in Sanskrit, and copper coins had inscriptions in Tamil. So this is a specific detail. This can be important. The coins of Chola King Rajaraja I featured the standing king on one side and a seated goddess on the other, with inscriptions generally in Sanskrit. Rajendra I coins had the legend Sri Rajendra or Gangai Konda Chola inscribed with the emblems of tiger and fish. The coins of the Pallava dynasty carried the feature of a lion. Turkish and Delhi Sultanate coins. This is also important. This will be questions I am where the coins had inscriptions in the form of king's name, title, and date as per the Hijri calendar. The coins did not bear any image of the issuing monarch, as there was a prohibition of idolatry in Islam. तो आपको reason भी पता चल गया. For the first time, the name of the mint was also inscribed on in the coin. The sultans of Delhi issued gold, silver, copper, and Bilon coins. Silver Tanka and copper Jittal was introduced by Iltutmish. ये question UPPCS 2013 and BPSC 1994 में आया हुआ है कि Tanka is which coin and Jittal is which coin. तो उसको आप मैच द फॉलोइंग में आया हुआ था ये क्वेश्चन. अलाउद्दीन खिलजी चेंज द एग्जिस्टिंग डिजाइन बाय ड्रॉपिंग द नेम ऑफ द खालिफ and replaced it with self-praising titles. Muhammad bin Tughlaq circulated bronze and copper coins as token currency, which were a failure. तो token currency किसने इंट्रोड्यूस किया था ये क्वेश्चन आया हुआ था, वो मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक. ये यूपीपीसीएस 2004 का क्वेश्चन है. Shershah Suri 1540 to 1545 introduced two standards of weight, one of 178 grams of silver coins and one of 330 grams of copper coins. These were later known as rupee and the dam, respectively. Please note that Kandhari dirham, the Islamic type of coins in India, were first issued around 9th to 10th century by the Amirs of the Sindh. The coins were in silver and were called Kandhari dirham, and the Kufic calligraphy was used in the coin with Kalima on one side and the name of the Amir on the other. Gold coins with seated goddess Lakshmi on one side, first issued in the central Indian region by Muhammad bin Sam in 12th century AD. Being aware that visual elements on coins were fundamentally to their acceptance and success as currency, he issued such coins to maintain a visual tradition which had begun in India thousand years previously on the coinage of Kushan kings Kanishka II. Coins of local tradition and depiction of bull and horsemen were with local script Devanagari were issued by Ghaznavids, Ghurids and Mamluks. ठीक है। विजयनगर एम्पायर की कॉइन्स की अगर हम बात करें तो विजयनगर एम्पायर 14 टू 17 सेंचुरी इशूड लार्ज नंबर ऑफ गोल्ड कॉइन्स जिससे पता चलता है कि वो प्रॉस्पेरस एम्पायर था। अदर मेटल्स यूज्ड इन द कॉइनेज ऑफ द पीरियड वर सिल्वर, प्योर सिल्वर एंड कॉपर। Pagoda's high denomination figure of running warrior along with her dagger symbol, gold funums, fractional units, silver taras, fractional units, and copper coins for day-to-day transactions. तो ये इसका डिवीजन था. The earliest Vijayanagar coinage was produced in different mints and was called by different names such as Barkur, uh, Gadyanas, Batkal, Gadyanas, etc. The inscriptions were in Kannada or Sanskrit. Images seen are a double-headed eagle holding an elephant in each beak and claw, a bull, an elephant, and various Hindu deities. The gold Varahan coin issued by Krishna Dev Raya 1509 to 1529 had a seated Vishnu on one side and a three-line legend Sri Pratap Krishnan Raya in Sanskrit on the other side. Three scripts used in Vijayanagar coins were Devanagari, Kannada, and Telugu. The earliest Vijayanagar ruler were greatly inspired from the Hoysala coins. Vijayanagar coins had images of Hindu deity or animals that the Hindu worship. Vijayanagar coins were found in plenty numbers because no one would try to destroy the coins with the images of Hindu deity. Obviously, there was a separate department to mint the coins. There was a central mint that controlled the local mints. Travancore Funum, तो Funum actually coins को बोलते हैं. ये question CSC 2022 में पूछा गया तो this becomes important. So these coins were issued by the state of Travancore. The Funum and chakrams were regularly used unit regular unit of currency in medieval Travancore. Funam was equivalent to 4 chakrams. Do we have time? We don't. But we are left with, uh, let's complete it in 2 3 minutes. The standard gold coin of Mughal was moher of about 170 to 175 grains. Abul Fazl, in his Aine Akbari, indicated that a mohar was equivalent to 9 rupees of the period. Half and quarter mohars are also known. The silver rupee was an adoption from Sher Shah's currency, was the most famous of all Mughal coins. The Mughal copper coin was adopted from Sher Shah's dam and weighed around 320 to 330 grains. ये आपका दाम से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन आया हुआ था यूपीपीसीएस 2008 में. Akbar issued both round and square coins. In 1579, he issued gold coins called Ilahi coins to promote his new religion called Creed Dinde Lahi. These coins bore a legend that can be translated to mean God is great, may his glory be glorified. The value of an Ilahi coin was equal to 10 rupees of the period. My God. Shahanshah was the largest gold coin. These coins bore the name of Persian solar months. Coins issued by Jahangir adopted a couplet legend. In some of the coins, he added the name of the beloved wife Noor Jahan. The most famous of his coins had zodiac signs. Important facts की अगर हम बात करें तो earliest reference of coins in the Indian context can be found in the Vedas. Nishka was the term used for coins made up of metal. तो ये question UPSC 1993 में आया हुआ है तो this becomes important कि निष्का किससे related है. Shershah Suri, a 16th century ruler of Afghan lineage, introduced the Rupee, it was a silver currency at that moment. 1 rupee was equal to four coins made up of copper. The Indian currency is still called rupee. Rupiah was made of silver and weighed almost 11.34 grams during this period. The ancient India people used money tree to store their coins. A money tree was a flat piece of metal shaped like a tree with metal branches. At the end of each branch was a round disc with a hole in the center. Each of these discs was an ancient Indian coin. When one needed money, one simply broke off the coin from the money tree. Okay. The coins of the Gupta period were stamped with given names on the front and with the assumed names ending with Aditya, which means sun, on the reverse. Chhatrapati Shivaji's issued gold hunts and copper shivaris with his title in the Nagari script. The Vodiyar dynasty, Mysore 1399 to 1947, coins of the king Kanthirava Narasaraja bore the image of the Narsimha avatar of Vishnu and weighed 6 to 8 grams. Hyder Ali, who overthrew Vodiyar dynasty for some time, continued their coinage with the figures of Shiva and Parvati on the earlier uh, gold pagodas. Tipu Sultan used two eras in his coins. Coinage Act 2011 replaced the Coinage Act 1906. The term coin means coin made of any metal and or any material stamped by government or any authority empowered by the government and includes the following commemorative coin. A Government of India 1 rupee note. There are penalties prescribed for forgery relating to minting, etc. of the coin. So we are complete with the chapter 5. Keep studying and keep watching Bhatna Sutra. Let's meet in the next video. Bye.